Oh. Hey, all copyrighted material used in this broadcast are, you know, of course, owned by their copyright holders. Probably Marvel and Fox for the most part in this video. I mean, one of my own songs is in here, so go for me. Hey, yeah, Big Willie style. Yeah, please go buy the original materials and read them. You know, that I think you're gonna. That's a major thesis point of a lot of my videos is going to be go read some original content here and there. What else? So I need just disclaimer out real quick. Oh yes, all opinions expressed in this channel are mine, and you should get your own opinions, buddy. All right, let's get into the show. X-Men. Out of everyone in a billion comes an ample source of villain. Hey, this is Miles. Hi Internet, how you doing today? Glad to have you around. Let's hang out for a while. I want to talk about some cool stuff. So a lot of people, you might know me as just like a friendly guy around the neighborhood, or as indie rock band Marvin The Robot. I have also been writing some comic books lately, and we'll have those coming out shortly. I don't know. I'm running on apocalypse time now, so you know, hopefully 2021. Yeah, I'm in line with everybody else praying for 2021 to be a good time to go out and shop again. Anyway. In the meantime, I have one of these days where I'm just kind of sitting around waiting to get some pages in, and really avoiding typing at all costs. So man, it was a dark and stormy night. The night was dark and stormy. Stormy. Dark was the night. I've been meaning to just start making some videos on this channel where I talk about stuff I like, because you know that's how you do all that fancy audience building stuff, right? You know, you talk about stuff you like. Hey, it turns out you like this same stuff too. So I'm trying to kind of join that party. I've been putting it off because I didn't really feel like there was something I really wanted to talk about at the moment, you know, other than, you know, the daily routine of, are minorities in comics good for sales? I don't know, that crap. So when I saw this one X-Cellent scene thing trending, I was like, hey, this is a bandwagon I can jump on. What do we got? I get to talk about comics finally. Now I'm making a video relevant to comics, about stuff I like that you probably like too, that we can bond on and talk about. That isn't exactly my book right off the bat because it's not ready yet. So I've got a song, so we can drop some Marvin The Robot hits in here. We love doing that. And 3, there's a movie coming out that might actually be relevant to this. And the X-Men movies. Sweetie, honey, child, get a clue. That's not true. The evidence is clear on this. Okay, so I mean, the New Mutants have just always been like the crucial team. It's the only book I ever actually got a subscription to. I needed mailed to my house like the day it came out every month, and you know, I've got that subscription like around number 80. So of course then the book ended on number 100, but X-Force was out the exact same next month, and they just transitioned by subscription over to X-Force because it was basically the continuing of the book. They just changed the name of the book and kind of the tone, and I threw in some Deadpool, but otherwise it was my same crew. Like Bobby and Sam is just really crucial. That's just a high friendship in general, people placing bets on who's gonna hook up with who, and just normal teenage bullshit. I think one of the real key things to a New Mutant thing book you gotta have in the plots that Hickman has done a really good job of jumping on in the newer books is like the whole deal was like Professor X pretty much thought he killed the X-Men. Like he had like a whole class of kids that he like got left in space and then like messed up in Australia, and we're just like everyone thought they were dead. Like and Professor X felt pretty responsible for that. Like but you know how the school federal funding is, like you gotta go to a new class in the next year or else, you just not, no, that's terrible. That's terrible. But Professor X didn't want to close up the school. There's still kids out there that need help. But, so he brought in this new class of kids. Honestly, they came to him. I think Sam was running from trouble, within like the first couple pages of the issue #1, if I remember right, of the big graphic novel. Anyway, so he starts up this new class of kids, but he's like, you guys are high school students, all right? Your biggest problems and enemies are going to be algebra, trigonometry, geography. You're going to be an X-Men when you grow up, so you should probably learn a bunch of languages. Knock, knock. Just got to bring up somebody. Who's relevant? Who's that relevant to? Who am I doing a call for? But no hijinks. You're not messing with Dr. Doom. All right. I don't even want to hear the name Magneto. Man, no, you guys are high school kids. None of the superhero nonsense for you. You're gonna fight some books. You're gonna learn some stuff, and you're not gonna die before graduation. That is the really important things that need to have happen. And of course, they do all of that, but of course they also sneak off to the mall, get caught up in superhero hijinks, run away to Asgard for the summer, all the classic high school hijinks stuff you gotta do, right? Especially if you got superpowers, you gotta go save the day. So friendship, sneaking away to do the right thing, pissing off the grown-ups. That's what you gotta see in a New Mutants movie. So, there's a New Mutants movie, any kind of New Mutant story. Those are the key elements you gotta see in a New Mutant story. Like, I was here listening to a writer earlier today talk about, if you're doing a James Bond story, he's gotta drink, he's gotta get laid, he's gotta drive a really nice car, you can't have some guy showing up in scrubby clothes, that can't make a pass at a lady, and call him James Bond, because that's not James Bond, that's some other dude. You can make up your own dude. I'll probably please make up. We need more, people making up their own dudes out there in the world. But if you're gonna commit to writing a James Bond story, he needs to be British. He needs to be wearing the best stuff, driving cars you'll never be able to afford, and banging all the Holly Berries you can find. Right? Those are the key elements. So, man, oh god. Damn, fuck, damn, oh fuck. Man, dude, I really hate me some Fox, Bryan Singer, X-Men movies. I don't need adaptations to be 100% faithful and accurate. A great example is Legion. There's almost nothing. Like, he doesn't do the haircut. He never, well, I guess he does almost kind of blow up the world a couple times. But, like, Legion, the TV show, and Legion, the character from the books, you can maybe say the Simon Spurrier run of X-Men Legacy and leaving the TV show, or maybe kind of approximately cousins of each other. But at the same time, Legion does hit all the really key points. It's confusing as hell. There's all these multiple personalities. You're really not ever sure if it's all just different versions of him or if there actually is a bunch of different people. Yeah, the world's constantly almost getting blown up for like the most asinine of reasons. Weirdo time travel that does not work out the way anyone thinks it's going to work out. All that stuff is classic Legion. If you're gonna tell a Legion story, it's gotta be weird. It's gotta have multiple personalities. We gotta be definitely in the mental ward for just most of the time. And the whole world's gotta be a threat. That's stuff like that. Professor X has gotta be a terrible father. These are just things we need to see in a Legion story, and that show brings it. without necessarily doing almost anything that any of the books ever did with that guy. So let's see, what's another good example? Daredevil. The Frank Miller stuff from like the 80s and 90s is really like, that's Daredevil to me. I really want to read the story arc that's out. I think it maybe just ended, where Matt's mayor of New York. Oh man, I do love that, man. We're gonna have an episode about Daredevil and manslaughter one day. And conflict of interest. You know, because Matt Murdock thinks killing is wrong, but he's totally down with manslaughter. Like, let's and he's a lawyer, so he knows what it is. So the Daredevil TV show, or even Jessica Jones, doesn't really look like the books. She doesn't sound like Bendis. But that's great. These are the things that we like. These are, proven. So changes that improve or add are great. Changes that just make a character's perspective more tangible or visceral. Like in the case of Legion, like you can't really make anything on a TV show look like a Bill Sienkiewicz drawing, but you can create a tone of just absolute weirdness where the Shadow King is stalking you in your dreams. That's doable. So these are things, so that's what you want out of an adaptation, is the things that you see in the Fox-Men movies. Like, I walked out of X-Men Apocalypse in about 10 minutes. And I think it was the scene where Warren Worthington is bare knuckle boxing for money. It's just like, what the fuck? Scroll some letters there, man. Cause that shit, what? Warren Worthington, 1, doesn't need the money. Okay, 2, it doesn't bear, no, he's too classy. He's a snazzy guy. He's not doing anything where he's not wearing a shirt, unless it just gets ripped off while he's doing some heroing, or bouncing through slamming through a wall, or dodging, aerial projectiles. Warren Worthington is not a bare knuckle boxer, and he's certainly not doing it for cash, because, dude, his real power, he might have wings, but his real power is being loaded as fuck, he's like richer than Bruce Wayne. So, I know Psylocke is in that movie wearing some leggy stuff, but, you already lost me at the beginning. I really the moment I gave up on the franchise was in fucking Days of Future Past, man. Fucking Days of Future Past, where the X-Men go to the future to rescue Cyclops' daughter from slavery, alright, to stop this apocalyptic future that haunts the X-Men like decades down the line. Rachel's always still wondering, if this thing that happens or that thing that happens is, the first step down the line to the terrible world that she came from, and what are we gonna do to stop that shit from ever happening again, no one ever really feels safe from that again. And that's what's really amazing in that story. And then to have the movie about Wolverine going into the 60s so that Mystique and Professor X can hook up. Like, if we're going to talk about my favorite scene in X-Men, that's what this whole video is about. The one excellent scene theme is all about talking about my favorite scene in all of the X-Men. So I also need to explain why we go to that. My least favorite stuff in all of X-Men, and that is this crap in the movies where they gotta jam Mystique up into every single movie like she's like Jean Grey. She's not one of the most essential X-Men. She is a truly badass X-Men. She is a boss bitch. Alright, Mystique, I'm not trying to say that she's not important or that she's whack, but what I am saying is that, she's not Hank. Like, she's not Scott, or Nightcrawler, or Oro. These are all people that you really need to have in an X-Men movie. But just to have Mystique jammed up in the middle of every plot, like, just for no other reason than actually I think I was watching the Days of Future Past and I was like, what the thing is about it is that she's a naked blue lady. So we get to have a naked blue lady at all times in our movies, and I was just like, that was really offensive to me. Man, it just, yeah, that killed everything about that. Just sucked the life out of those Foxman movies for me. Not to mention, Bryan Singer turning out to be horrible. And also, like, if you're gonna make a queer metaphor out of the X-Men movies, you're not gonna have Mystique and Destiny? Like, that's like the biggest lesbian couple in like most of fiction. Like, I'm sure, please in the comments, list all of the more famous lesbian couples in fiction out there, and it'd be great to have an archival list that we can refer to back. But god damn it, Mystique and Destiny are at the motherfucking top of that list, alright? Like, this been together for decades. Like, yeah, Mystique has been with a bunch of people, but mostly when she hooks up with other people, it's to like deliberately have some superpowered baby with them. Like, she wants your genes. Like, you don't even need the sex. Just like, you know, put it in a tube, send it to this address, you know, and like, inseminated. You know, I know Mr. Sinister, I'll give him a call real quick. You know, there doesn't even need to be any sex. Like, I just want the superpowered baby so I can go rob a bank. You know, that's usually what that shit is about. Mystique and Destiny, that's a Love Jones. That's the thing. Right now, are you reading the books right now? Oh my god. Don't, you know, so anyway. So, how you gonna do the queer metaphor and leave out the biggest lesbian couple in all of history? To what? In all of history. I know, I've turned into Donald Trump. Oh, this is terrible. Shoot me now. Oh no! Oh no! No! Oh my god, it's terrible. This shit drives me up a wall. I'm normally really calm, but you know, this shit just makes me really crazy. So, New Mutants, man. Is it gonna be good? Is it gonna be terrible? The worst ever. I mean, it almost didn't come out like 3 or 4 times. They should just really, Disney Plus, you know, they're trying to do something nice for AMC right now. I know AMC, movie theaters everywhere are struggling. I know I'm not going to goddamn movie theater, except, man, I do want to see Tenet. I do really want to see Tenet. I might go to like noon on a Tuesday to check that shit out. You know, if there's like, including staff, 4 people in the theater, I'm gonna see some Tenet. But I don't feel that way about New Mutants. You know, I might catch that on HBO. You know, okay, I'll catch you on HBO, son. It's gonna be great. Disney Plus. You know, come holler at it, brother. Bryan Singer had like a real open contempt for the actual books. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, once again, you know, like, maybe if you had read an X-Men book, he would have known to put Mystique and Destiny. You know, if you're gonna center Mystique in the middle of a queer metaphor, you really, you know, you gotta bring your homegirl with you. You know, like, and you know, there's so many. Destiny's such a good character. Like, you can do so much shit with her. But so these bad characterizations, where do they come from? Why are they happening? All right, so we've got contempt for the material. Bryan Singer just openly was known for not letting anyone, you know, in the crew or in the cast even read comic books, talk about comic books. You know, as far as it was on the set of that movies, you know, all the Bryan Singer ones. Don't talk about fucking X-Men. Number one rule of X-Men is don't talk about X-Men, but not in the cool edgelord way. Don't talk about X-Men in the way it might be relevant to making your movie look good and be entertaining kind of way. You know, and instead what you get are these kind of like, I would call it Joseph Campbell on crack, where Hollywood has a story structure that every movie, you know, you can go back to the Rick and Morty circle of tales, you know, where, you know, a character leaves his home because he wants something, and then he gets something, and he's got to pay a price to get it. And is the price worth it? You know, should you maybe give it back? Or can he just go back to his old life? You know, and like, you know, depending on if it's, you know, what kind of story trends tell. He either resets or he learns something, or, you know, he brings back the thing that he earned and gives it to the village, or she, you know, or she or they. You know, obviously this is not a gender thing, but you know, any protagonist, but it usually is a singular protagonist. That's also a big thing in Hollywood movies. Yeah, capitalist realism. That's a term I'm going to throw out there. You know, I don't want to get too Lindsay Ellis about it. You can use Google. Holler at Dr. Google about some capitalist realism. The Soviet Union had certain doctrines that they had about the kind of stories you could tell in their society without getting shot. And basically, you know, if you wanted your stuff to get published and you wouldn't get paid for it and maybe not die in the process, there were certain rules you had to have about stories. And actually, they were very much, you could not have a singular person going out and making decisions and changing the effects and changing things that happen in the world, which consequently makes a lot of those books so fucking boring. Those books are so boring because no one does anything or changes anything or tries too hard. Well, you know, that's what, you know, that's the ethics they were trying to preach in their society. They wanted people to be passive and to go along with stuff, so they printed stories and promoted stories about people being passive and you know just not questioning things too much. Anyway, so we grew up in a culture where they teach us that you gotta be the dude, that only you know, you gotta be the, you know, this one dude, and one day that's gonna be you. You're that dude. And if you're not that dude right now, this is just your prologue. You're just in the middle of your origin story, bro. Like, you know, but once you bust out of that origin story and get into the multi-movie franchise where you got a cinematic universe, you know, that's, yo, bada boom, bada bippity baby. That's where you want to be, you know, right? And that a lot of times doesn't jive with the X-Men. I mean, I think the most obvious example is the awkward rivalry that Wolverine and Scott always have in those Bryan Singer movies where, I don't know, I'm gonna holler back at Hickman right now. He's killing it, bro. Killing it, bro. Yeah, I'll give 5 points to Jonathan Hickman right now. Yeah, whatever. Whole House of X Squad, all y'all out there. Man, the Cyclops Wolverine bro love that is happening right now. And once again, I really gotta stress, X-Men is about bro love. We're gonna get, let's start actually talking about the scenes. I'm getting super sidetracked. Getting sidetracked by the bro love. But no, it's important. Like Scott versus Logan over Jean, or just Scott being a pussy in the X-Men movies in general, is this whacked kind of forcing of like a Hollywood story structure onto an X-Men story structure that doesn't really work right. So, why am I whining about conflicts between Wolverine and Cyclops? Oh my god. Because there's a new Mutants movie coming out. Yo, and could it be dope? It might be dope. I mean, this is gonna have the new Mutants in it, right? You know, like, as long as my boy is not invulnerable when he's blasting, you know, as long as Bobby DaCosta is in love with Bobby DaCosta and goddammit America, you should be too. You know, I am super here for that. You know, that is all I want in this world, is just to hang out with my boys, being boys. You know, Danny Moonstar hanging out, being Trill. You know, Rain Sinclair being the innocent one, afraid of everything, herself even, and trying to figure out where she belongs in the world and having a really rough time of doing it. That is the stuff I love about this movie, you know, about these stories, about these characters, their dynamics. In any media, I can get it, I want it so bad. But the things I'm worried about with this movie, first of all, we gotta talk about Iliana. Iliana Rasputin. Iliana is like one of my favorite characters. She's Colossus's little sister. She survived in a vicious hell world for years. She was basically left there alone and thought all of her favorite X-Men friends were dead. You know, was raised by a demon that obviously didn't want the best for her. But she got out. She got skills from it, a sword out of it. She became kind of badass. But, you know, not immediately even then was she badass. For a long, long time, she was very conflicted because her powers did come from surviving in a hell world. Whether or not she could actually do good. Because her powers were so dependent on being evil, or, you know, at least on this end of the alignment. Could she be a good guy? Is that actually something that's on the table for her? Was a big dilemma in her, and especially at this point in the Demon Bear saga. That was actually kind of cool looking at, because initially, speaking of, you know, ways that my memory warped the story versus the way the story actually was, I still remember that little girl, Iliana. you know, maybe just 2 days out of Hell World, you know, but still very much a child. Now with more of a teenager's mind, you know, if you want to get in time dilation, you know, that's what's going on. So, yeah, Iliana did age, I think, about 7 years inside of that Hell World, even though she came back, you know, minutes after she had left this world, if I remember correctly. I could be very wrong about her arriving back. But I believe there's not only that kind of experience of like classical time dilation where she's in one space moving at one speed, aging at one thing, while time's moving here around Earth and time and everything's moving at a different thing. And then she pops back and she's mentally one age and physically another. That's kind of weird. She's very conflicted about her powers and whether they're good or evil or not, and now she's hanging out with definitely a lot of good guys and she's aspiring to be one of them, but can she is really a central question of that character. I'm afraid that what we're going to see in the movie is going to be very similar to what we saw of Ender and the Ender's Game movie, where the Ender we get in that movie is the Ender from the end of the book. We never see the young Ender. I wish I could remember his name right now. It's Eugene or something. I don't remember Ender's first name. Someone, please. Wiggins, I know it's his last name. Damn it. What was Ender's first name? Anyway, but you know, that super innocent, naive kid that just gets shoved through the rat maze of the book, who at the end of the book then is this hyper intelligent guy. I mean, see him in the sequel. You know, catch your homie and speaker for the dead. You know, very, you know, gets to be like a very smart guy who not only can think steps ahead of people, but can also sympathize with them. And that's actually how he's able to, you know, outmaneuver his enemies, is because he has sympathy for them, which is crazy considering Orson Card seems to lack that ability. You know, sometimes writing is aspirational. Sometimes you create a guy who can do the stuff that you can't do, you know, because it makes you feel better about yourself to say, hey, I can do that by proxy through a totally fictional guy I made up. I understand, Orson, it's okay. We're moving on. But I don't want that with Iliana. You know, the super sexy, badass, like, third in charge of the military of Krakoa, Iliana Rasputin, you can transport whole schools through demon dimensions and across time. She's dope. I love her. Like, she's in like 3 books right now. Okay, we got your girl. All right. I mean, you can go back and read classic post-Schism X-Men where basically Scott's the new Magneto and Iliana's was second in command there. That's really good stuff. Great stuff. But Demon Bear Saga Iliana actually was a lot more confident. She wasn't totally that little girl that just escaped from hell, literally. She was slightly more confident, slightly stronger. There was actually some great moments where Danny and Iliana are counseling each other, which actually jumps into my second worry. So, second worry, see how we do that, because things you see from the trailer automatically. Is Iliana facing up against Demon Bear? The visual of just Iliana facing up against the Demon Bear, it's really great. But Demon Bear is Danny Moonstar's nemesis. Alright, that shit got me hated. I was watching that being like, whoa, yo, but make room for your girl Danny Moonstar. The whole thing about the Demon Bear is it's like this feedback loop of Danny's own power. She can create things that you're afraid of. So, you know, the very first time her power manifests, her parents take her out camping, they're afraid of getting eaten by a bear. So, whoa, what happens? A bear, bam! Bear comes out, eats her parents, it's real bad, and then this bear has been following her ever since. But it's really, I mean, it's not just a metaphor, but it is also a metaphor. It's great, you know, like it's her, it's all her, fighting herself. Like, this is her powers manifested, and then are chasing her, and then her fear. And just her fear making it happen to her all over again, right? So it's this loop. So she's got to be the one that has the big showdown with the goddamn bear because it's her. Like, you know, I mean, oh man, like I don't know how many. Let me put up a chart. That's just one big circle. Danny Moonstar is the Demon Bear. Demon Bear is met Danny Moonstar, and so Iliana, I love you, but you gotta sit this one out because. You know, it's Danny's fight. You know, it was Danny's cross to bear. Oh, this is what was in my mind when I went back to go read the Demon Bear Saga thinking I was gonna have some hot smoke about, you know, them neglecting my girl Danny Moonstar, because I won't be having it of anything else, you know. She's the goddamn leader of the team at the time. But anyway, so that's actually good. So I did. I sat back down with my copy. I've got the Comicsology remix. I actually have way too many copies of this. Because, you know, I've got the original print one that I've had since I was 13 that I'm too lazy to go upstairs and get. I'm wearing the homemade t-shirt, so I hope you'll just believe me that I have it. I'm not going to get it right now. Then I've got the digital collection of just New Mutants, 1 through 100. So there's that. So that's actually, I think, most of the clips you're going to be seeing from that. And then I've got the Comicsology Demon Bear collection, which is the original 3-part New Mutant story. Then an X-Force plot involving the Demon Bear. And I don't remember one of that one. It's Demon Bear again. Actually, while we're just talking about Demon Bear stories, I really gotta recommend Uncanny X-Force with Storm and Bishop, where they fight the Revenant Queen. I think it might be even Cassandra Nova. I don't remember if it's exactly Cassandra Nova, but it's some kind of ghost mutant that, yeah, the Demon Bear is totally badass in that shit. Bishop's out of his mind. It's great. It's right after the absolutely phenomenal Rick Remender run where they find the Apocalypse's adventure brother and they debate on whether the clone farm or not because they're all children. Yeah, it's really phenomenal. It's two really good back-to-back X-Force runs right there. Gotta holler about that. Read that shit. Oh my god. So anyway, you know, I've reopened. I actually read the Comicsology one. That was really slow. I remember that I needed to grab stills, and I was like, well, I should just grab stills off the digital version. So that's what I did, and I went back through it, and it's great. The whole first book is like there's a bunch of Danger Room stuff going on. Everybody's Danger Room. I think Doug Ramsey might have been somewhere around there. Because you just see the first captions there, a guy talking about how they don't have very practical fighting powers. But then you cut and it's Danny and Iliana in the control room, so who knows what's up with that. But then, so most of the team does like a big group thing, and Sam's got some romantic tension going on with Mara, but you know, Mara's, you know, it's one of those born yesterday sexy kind of situations going on. So, Sam, I don't know, just stick to blasting. You'll be invulnerable that way, otherwise your heart might get broke, but my friend. And don't worry, you have some really great hookups in your future, so don't get too concerned about the Samara stuff. Anyway. You know, there's the teenage love drama and all that. We love so much happening. And then Danny has Iliana run her in the room, and Danny does the sequence where she tries to, you know, be faster than a bear, and Iliana stops it and is just like, this is kind of weird. You know, you're kind of being a little bit weird right now. What's up with that? You know? And Danny's just like, no, hold on. And I just gotta be hard. You know, I'm thinking of new things. We got, you know, we gotta be trained. We gotta be ready. We gotta be quick. You know, I don't know. Being faster than the bear is just on my mind today. I don't know, because it is on her mind. And she even walks away. You know, Danny being a psychic and all, and it's like Iliana knows I'm full of shit right now. She knows I'm talking crap. You know, and I am talking some crap because the very next thing you see is your girl gearing up to go out and fight. She's putting on war paint. She's going out. Like I said, this demon bear. It's her nightmare. That's been following her, and it's not going away until she does something about it. So, you know, and then the fight is true. The fight is true. I mean, like, I don't know, let me show off the shirt one time. Oh yeah, show off the shirt. Okay. The fight's so good. Iliana, you know, she gets hurt. There's real bad stuff. She gets beat, but she knocks back. She's shooting arrows in this bear. This arrow, finally, she bests the demon bear. She kills the fuck out of that bear. Finally, you know, it's killed her parents. It ruined her life. She's been living in fear ever since. And finally, she's triumphantly walking away, whistling, being like, I did it, Dad. Look at me, Pa. You know, I did it. And then Rain wakes up, because she's got like a psychic bond with Danny, freaking out. Rain wakes up freaking out, gets everybody else up, and they run out into the woods, and what do they find? But Danny bleeding out in the snow. Because of course, the Demon Bear is just Danny. You know, and like, it really, you know, like I said, you know, I was just, remember rewind a couple minutes ago when I was like, hey, can I make this any simpler for you to understand? Danny and the Demon Bear are the same thing. It's just her fear and her power, but her fear and her power, it's all inside you, you know. Anyway, so, you know, but, you know, in the words of a great computer programmer, you know, by definition, if you do the best you can, you will eventually reach a point where you can't improve it anymore. You need someone else to come and help you. You need friends. And you know, if you create a situation and you've done everything you can in your imagination, you've foreseen all the foreseeables, and you've even put in backups for the unforeseeables, and still shit's hitting the fan, you know, it's time to dial in a friend, you know, like, that's really always, and that's, once again, what the story need. We need friendship, we need the bro love so hard, you know, in the story, and that's exactly what the next two issues are just the rest of the squad coming to rescue Danny, first getting her to the hospital, getting her to the goddamn hospital, you know, and then when the demon shows up for Danny at the hospital, they face her off. They face it off. They fight this bear. You know, they come as a crew. Bobby, I love Bobby. You know, he's like, he's a bear. Of course, I'm trying out. He gets smacked up. You know, that doesn't stop. He comes back for round two. There's little shots of Bobby just getting like kind of like ping-ponged around, like, you know, like he got like hit and he's like ricocheting off of something in the background when other people are fighting. I love my dude. And then same with Sam. Sam goes full throttle and even talks about some maneuver. Actually, I think that's early in the thing where he talks about learning a couple of evasive maneuvers. But anyway, the whole team comes out, and of course, yeah, your girl Iliana is the one that really steps up and then takes this fight. So they're fighting with the bear, and they're kind of coming to a standstill in the hospital, and Iliana does a bunch of magic, gets her soul surge out, you know, kind of gets this, realizes, because she's a Rasputin, probably is what I've always kind of attributed to, is that, you know, when she gets hit in a certain place, like, her skin kind of turns into armor there, which, you know, once again, being Colossus's little sister, always just kind of seemed like a thing to me. And then they fight their way into the spirit plane. So now, because the demon bear is an imaginary creature, and so it lives in the imaginary world. And the New Mutants, you know, thanks to Iliana's interdimensional powers of being able to travel and just slice shit up, you know, bam! Now they're fighting the demon bear in his own plane, and that shit's crazy. That's the cray. You know, like, right? I mean, and like, once again, Bill Sienkiewicz, like 50 points to Bill Sienkiewicz, like. Man, you know, I mean, I wish it, you know, I mean, I couldn't, you know, like what, like, we're like the Cronenberg, like in the Rick and Morty where everything gets Cronenberg out there somewhere where everything gets Sienkiewicz. I mean, you wouldn't even notice then, like, right, if everything was just dope ass, hand painted, splashed out, crazy detail, like, you know, oh man, but like, I'm so glad that I live in this reality where I got to grow up reading this beautiful artwork and these wonderful stories. And the hardcore friendship. So, right? I was wrong. I thought I was gonna come here, you know, seeing this trailer and being like, Hollywood is hating again. Hollywood's full of haters. They don't want to see the brown girl stand on her own. No. They better get those ratings showing Russian thighs and leather swords. You know, I like that shit too, you know, but damn. But then I really had to cry. I really had to. Bam! Friendship winning in the end. You know, this totally badass shit that we love out of New Mutants. So that does give me a little bit of hope that the movie isn't just going to reduce it to some boss battle between Iliana and the Demon Bear at the end of the movie without really making a team out of it. That's what I worry about. But, you know, maybe this movie will be different. You know, everything doesn't always have to be gloom and doom. I know it's 2020, but maybe something nice will happen. Maybe. Who knows, you know. Or maybe Tenet will be dope. Oh, Hey, thanks for sticking around. I think I've eaten up enough of your time. Check out my Patreon if you don't think I've eaten up enough of your time. If you want to check out some of the sweet stuff I'm working on, you can check out marvintherobot.org to listen to my music, or go to the Patreon page to find out about the comics I'm working on. I'm working on two called The Editors, which is about two best friends who get a time machine and do some hijinks with that shit. And then there's also another one called Neighborly Detective Co. That's about a young girl flunking out of nursing school who decides to go into the family business, only to discover the family business is what? Peace, guys. Ideology is simply never saying I'm sorry for caught in this disaster between the mojo world, Longshot and Dazzler. Hey, you think that I'm the only person who's never seen your evil version? You think that I'm the only person? Well, baby, sweetie, honey, child, get a clue, because it's not true.